Hi, this is Joe Osuna. Welcome to Around the Leisure World. Today we have a very dynamic lady who is our guest, and she's going to tell us how to pronounce her name, because I think it's Damoci and I think it's Carole. So we're going to find out, and it's Carole with an E at the end.
Yes.
Is that right?
I'm Carole, named after Carole Lombard, not a Christmas carol.
Oh, okay.
The year I was born, there were two very popular names, Linda Darnell, Carole Lombard. So Linda and Carole are the names for that year.
Okay. And how do you pronounce your last name?
That was perfect.
Okay.
It's Hungarian.
It's Hungarian.
Most people would say Damoci. It's not Italian, it's Hungarian, so it's Damoci.
Okay. Well, I was going to say I thought it was Italian.
It's not, it's Hungarian.
Okay. Do you speak Hungarian?
No,
Oh.
I like about 6 or 7 generations, so
Okay. All right.
long gone.
Okay. So usually we start with telling us a little bit about yourself, so people here in Leisure World get to know Carole. So where were you born?
I was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and I lived there until I was 18. So I went to high school there, and I grew up there. That's where my family, the ones that are still alive, are still in New Brunswick. So
Okay. When you talk English in New Jersey, do you know that you speak different than other countries other states like Texas or California or Wyoming? Do they speak funny compared to what you speak in New Jersey?
well, we all have regional accents. A friend of mine went back to New Jersey with me, and we went into New York City to go to Macy's. We were in the Macy's basement, and some guy kept following us around. And he had a carnation on, he's the floor walker. I finally said to him, "What is your problem?" And this friend of mine who was born in Anaheim, he said to her, "You have the greatest accent in the world." Now, she's from California. Californians don't think they have an accent. So
Right.
in New
Everybody-
Jersey, I don't have an accent.
Right. Everyone says they don't have an accent in the different regions, except the other people.
Exactly.
Okay. So you were born in New Jersey, and where did you go to high school?
New Brunswick High School.
Okay. In New Jersey?
There was only 2 high schools in my town, that one and the Catholic one, so.
Okay. And was there anything in particular you liked about high school? Subjects or anything like that?
I liked history. I didn't like English because I didn't learn to read till I was 15, so English was a really hard subject. But I loved history, and probably history and government and things like that the most.
Okay. So that love of history probably stayed with you as you developed in life, right?
I watch everything that you can possibly watch on television, read history books. Yeah, I like history. I like the sense of knowing where you come from, and hopefully that tells you where you're going.
Okay. How about what happened after you graduated from high school? What happened?
Well, I graduated
Where'd you
from
go?
high school, and I joined the Army. Well, I joined the Women's Army Corps. I became a WAC. So I graduated in June, and I wasn't 18 until October. So I left for training in Alabama on my birthday.
Could you join the Army under the age of 18, or would your parents have to sign for you?
No, in those days, you couldn't join the Army under the age of 21
Oh,
if
okay.
you were a woman.
Okay.
If you were a guy, you could join at 18, but in those days, if you were a woman, you had to be 21, so I needed parents' signature to go into the service.
Okay. And you got it.
Yeah, by that time they were done arguing with me, so,
Oh, okay.
we argued over everything. Women couldn't drive until they were 18, and, we got rid of that one. And girls couldn't go deer hunting, and we got rid of that one. So by the time it got to joining the Army, they were about ready to let me do what I wanted.
Okay.
So.
Before we talk about your years in the Army, you mentioned deer hunting.
Yes.
Why would there be deer hunting? Tell me about New Jersey. Are there really deer in New Jersey?
Well, there's probably a lot less after my 6 older brothers and uncles went after him. But yeah, there's deer hunting, bear hunting, all types of hunting in New Jersey. Most people go to New Jersey and they see the Jersey Turnpike and they look at the Garden State Parkway. Those are highways. If you get off the beaten track and you go, it's a big farming community. When I was growing up, it was eighth and dairy farming. We raised almost all of the cranberries and just all kinds of farming and a lot of fruits and vegetables and stuff there. So a lot of apples and things like this were raised there. So it is a farming community.
Wow.
For the most part.
Okay, because you never think of the East Coast in that area as agricultural and rural.
Do you think of California as agriculture?
Well, because I've lived here all my life, yes.
If you drive up the coast of California, what you're gonna see are San Francisco, Los Angeles,
Yeah,
and big
that's
cities.
true.
Come on in a little bit.
That's right.
And that's what you had to do in New Jersey, was come on in a little bit.
Okay. All right. So, folks, you heard it, that there really are deer, and it's
There
really a
Are
garden,
deer in New Jersey.
garden state in New Jersey. Okay. And back to the Army then. Okay. So, what did you do in the Army?
Well, went into the Army and went training in Alabama, which I went back and taught military history a few years later there for a year. But I became an auto mechanic. I repaired transmissions on very large trucks.
Okay.
And so that's what I did for the first 4 years I was in the Army.
So you got grease and oil and stuff in your
Yeah.
hands and your uniform and all that.
Yes.
Okay.
Very dirty. So at the end of 4 years, when they wanted me to join, I said, I'll be more than happy to. You're going to re-up, and they'll give you some money and all this kind of stuff. And I said, fine, but I don't want to be a mechanic anymore. So I became part of the quartermaster corps, which later became supply. So I became a supply sergeant,
Okay.
warehouse and inventory.
So
that
you're
sort
like
of
a
stuff.
boss then when you're a sergeant.
Yeah, sergeants are pretty much a boss.
Okay, good, good. All right, so in the Army, did you get to travel anywhere in the world?
I spent 2 tours in Germany, in Frankfurt.
Okay.
They had huge warehouses in Frankfurt, and they were just starting to build up for Vietnam. So, we didn't really have a lot of equipment, so you had to repair a lot of equipment. So we did a lot of transmission repairs for very large trucks, and some cars and stuff, but mostly trucks.
Okay, you mentioned you had brothers,
6,
6. And were there any of them in the service?
all of them,
Wow.
all of them.
Did you
In fact, they were all officers, so they're horrible people. They were all officers.
Did you ever get to see them when you were in the service? Did you run across
I
the
ran
paths?
in, I had 2 brothers stationed in Germany at the same time. Well, one was in Germany in the Marine Corps, and one was in France as a naval attaché. So I did get to spend time and stuff with them when I was in Europe, but they're the only ones I ever ran into.
Okay. Now, you were an enlisted person and they're officers. So, did you ever have any issues of being seen with the officer?
It's very strange because I was raised by my aunt and uncle. So when I say I have 6 older brothers, they're really my cousins. But I was raised by my aunt and uncle. And so we had different last names. The Damoci, and their name was Reed. So I would go for 30-day trips and when I was in Germany with them, and I kind of got questioned a little bit, what are you doing, going off on trips with officers, because you didn't do that. So once they found out they were my brothers, it was okay. But so it was kind of interesting.
Oh, good. Anything else happened in Germany that was interesting?
I was there when Kennedy was assassinated.
Oh, wow.
And that was kind of interesting because we all went, everybody were on alert because we were, it was a big communist scare in those days. They still, hated Mother Russia. And they still do. But so they were afraid that somebody would take advantage of the United States because of, JFK being assassinated.
Sure.
So everybody went on alert, and all the military bases were crazy at that period of time. So that was kind of interesting. And I liked Europe. Europe was a nice place to see.
Any particular city that you like more than others that you've seen in Europe?
I liked Athens a lot. I liked Greece a lot. Paris I liked a lot. For some reason I never went to London. And I don't know why not, but I would like to go to London now. But Rome was a nice city. The people in Greece and Italy were tremendously nice. The people in Spain were nice. I mean, they were just really nice to you. They're very nice, friendly, warm people. So I liked, I think, Greece and Italy, and France not as much as Greece and Italy, but I really liked Greece and Italy a lot.
In those days, did they speak English enough so that you could communicate with them when you were traveling through those countries?
Yeah, it was pretty. It was not that long after World War II, and so I had an uncle that lived in Italy. He had married an Italian woman and lived in the United States for a while, and then went back to Italy. But a lot of people in Europe speak English.
Oh, okay.
So it's, you know, we seem to be a country of people that only speak one language. So when
Right.
people come here, they have trouble communicating with us, but when we go to Europe, they all take more than one language, whereas we don't push that as much here. So over there, a lot of them speak English.
Good, okay. All right, so after the Army then, what was it like? Where did you go on?
I got out, I was 26 when I got out of the Army because I was in for 8 years. And I went back home to New Jersey thinking that New Jersey was where I was going to stay. And then I was there for a couple of months, and it snowed on Christmas Day, and I booked a ticket for California. And I've been here since Christmas of '68.
Okay, so what's wrong with it snowing on Christmas?
It's cold, it's wet, it's slippery. And I had spent 3 years in Germany and a couple other years in Virginia. And I decided I'd had all of snow I wanted to do. And I had visited California for a month when I was 21. So, you know, I loved California. So I figured, good place to move. And so I left.
Okay. All right, so then we got you in California.
Yep.
And what happened in California?
Well, I wanted to go to work in the zoo because I love animals, you know. Lions and tigers and bears. I was just thrilled to go to work in the zoo. And to work in the LA Zoo, you either needed a degree or you needed 2 years of small animal care. So I went to work for a kennel in Hawaiian Gardens, as a matter of fact. Mingadale Kennel used to be on Carson. So I went to work there for 2 years and taught some ROP classes to high school students on taking care of small animals and stuff.
What's an ROP?
Regional Occupational Program. It's, you know, so the kids could get part-time jobs and,
Okay.
you know, they could be hired in different places, and some of them were on animals. And so I had to do that for 2 years, and then I went to work at the LA Zoo for a year.
Oh, okay. And how'd you like that? What did you do at the zoo?
I worked with snakes.
Why did you work with snakes if you like lions and elephants?
Well, it seems that lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, are what everybody likes. So it's kind of like, that's the thing everybody wants to do, and people coming in to work at places like this usually get the other jobs. And not many people want to work with snakes, and I can understand why. They try and bite you. So,
What, did you ever get bitten?
no, but they tried.
But they tried?
They tried. Some snakes will run you down to get you.
Wow.
You know, some of them will go after you
Whoa.
if you're too close. Some of them, if they get out of the cage, will try and get you. So I decided that, no, that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went back into warehousing, which was what I had done in the Army, and that's what I've done ever since until I retired 10 years ago.
Now, the snakes you were talking about, were there any of them poisonous?
Yeah, the other snakes I wasn't worried about.
Just the poisonous when they're after you.
You know, if you get bit by something else, it's like getting bit by a dog, big deal, you know. But if you're going to bite something that's going to kill you, well, that's a different story,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And some of those snakes are nasty. There are snakes from Africa that are horrible snakes. So I decided that possibly I needed to do something else.
Okay, so then you went into a safer area, warehousing.
Warehousing, much safer area.
Okay,
No snakes,
okay.
no snakes. So,
And how long were you in the warehousing?
until I retired.
Okay.
I did warehousing, purchasing, inventory control, that kind of stuff.
And this is all in the Los Angeles area?
Mostly Orange County. My last job was in Irwindale.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's really the only LA that I worked in, was in Irwindale.
Okay, so,
Everything else Orange County.
so how did you come to Leisure World? How did you find out about Leisure World?
I was driving down the street and I kept seeing the globe. And so finally I asked a friend who lived here, what's with the globe? And she says, well, that's a seniors community. And that was an alien concept, because on the East Coast, your seniors lived at home with you, you know. And all I could think of is, oh, this is where they're dumping their old people, not realizing that the people that had moved here in those days were people that really wanted that kind of a lifestyle and wanted to live here. So to me, it looked like, you know, you weren't taking care of your parents. So I looked at it for many, many years, and then my spouse decided that I was retired and they were going to retire eventually, and it was much cheaper to live here, you know, than paying mortgages and all that. It was much cheaper. We live here for a quarter of what we lived anyplace else.
What a deal.
So I got drugged kicking and screaming into Leisure World. I didn't want to go. It reminded me of a military base because of the houses.
Yeah, look like barracks.
It
kinda
looks like barracks,
yeah.
so I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And a funny thing, I kept following in the care ambulances. And I kept saying, my God, what people in here are just dying and sick and all. I didn't realize we have 2 care ambulances that go out to the city to work, but the ambulances are actually kept at Clubhouse 6.
Correct.
So I kept thinking, boy, every time I come here to look at a house, I followed an ambulance in, and
Yeah.
not realizing they lived
They're
here.
going to other calls.
Yeah, they were
Outside.
going outside, and then they were just coming back to their home, because they have an apartment in Clubhouse 6 where they live.
Right.
So I
Okay.
said, okay.
Okay, so what got you interested in, we haven't told the audience yet, but this lady is a vice president right now of the Golden Rain Foundation and the Golden Age Foundation, and we're gonna find out a little more about those 2 foundations and what's the critical difference between the 2 of them. But we're gonna find out what led to her getting into this realm here in the beach world.
Well, I moved in next door to Joan and Frank Schrammick, who are very, very much into the community spirit, you know, with Golden Age president, one was a Golden Rain director and then a mutual director. And Frank still delivers wheelchairs and walkers and stuff. He was the director for my parcel in Mutual 12, and he didn't want to be a director anymore. He was ready to retire. So he talked me into doing it. And I said, I don't know if I want to do this. And he said, don't worry, I'll get you elected. And he did, he got me elected, because he knew everybody in the parcel, and I had only been there less than a year. So I took his job on that. And then when Carole Pippenberg, who was the Mutual 12 director for the GRF, decided to retire, I said, okay, I'll try that too. So I ran opposed this time. Last time I was unopposed, but when I ran for Carole's seat, I ran against somebody. So I actually had to win an election. And that's how I got involved in those.
Okay, so that's involvement in the Golden Rain Foundation.
Right.
Okay, and how'd you get involved in the Golden Age Foundation?
Well, there was a director from Mutual 15 named Tom Barrett, who has since retired from all the boards and moved to Duluth, talk about snow. So he moved out of the state, and he talked me into becoming vice president of the Historical Society. And I said, okay, and then he said, come on to Golden Age, because I had put 200 flags on scooters and things like that because of an accident I saw in Golden Rain where a woman on a scooter was killed. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And a month later, he told me he was leaving town. So what he was doing was lining me up for his jobs. So I took over as president of the Historic Society, which I still am, and then I became special projects coordinator of the Golden Age Foundation, and that's what I do now.
Okay, so that brings us around a big circle, because when she was in high school, she liked history.
Yeah.
And now where does she end up? Being in charge of the Historical Society.
Most people don't even know it exists, you know. I'm sure there are people in Leisure World that don't know it exists.
Well, tell us quickly, what is a Historical Society?
It's down in Clubhouse 1, and it's a small room, but we have like 10 or 12 lockers full of stuff. We have the history of Leisure World. We have every newspaper ever printed. We have big plaques on the wall with all the World War I vets listed on them. We have the original capes that the nurses at the healthcare center wore.
Wow.
And so we have all the things of history. We have stuff from every club. So we keep that, and we keep that up. And we get new stuff every week from different clubs that are either disbanding or turning their stuff over to us, and we just keep it going.
When you just said you have pictures of them with capes, you know
We
what?
have the actual capes that the nurses wore.
Wow. Because I remember seeing older pictures of nurses actually wearing capes.
Yeah, they wear long capes.
That was part of their uniform, I
Mhm,
guess,
with
right?
the little crazy hats and
Yes,
everything. So,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
We actually have one hanging on the wall. And we're open on Thursday from 1 to 3, or 2 to 4. I'm not sure what it is, since Richard Erickson does it. He's down there every week.
So-
He's the new vice president.
Okay, so that means that people here in Leisure World
Can go visit.
can go there and visit and see all this stuff?
Mhm.
Okay.
And, you know, some people use it. We've had people come in who were writing books. Strather, I think his last name is, wrote a book about Seal Beach, Leisure World area, and he's been there to get some information and stuff too.
Okay.
But we have all the newspapers. That's the good part, to see how the newspapers have changed over the years, from the very first one to now.
Oh, Okay.
It's a big difference.
Okay, and there's also a display in front of your office, right?
Yes,
Are
there used to be more in Clubhouse One, but they took the bulletin boards down when they redid the lobby. But yeah, there's a display right in front. And then if you want to come in and look at the stuff we have in there, you can do that too. We have books written by Leisure World shareholders and
Now,
all kinds of stuff.
correct me if I'm wrong, but was there, if I remember that last display I saw there, was there plates and saucers with the logo of Leisure World on it or
Yeah,
stuff
some
like
people
that?
don't realize that the clubhouses used to have actually china in them. They actually had china that had a Leisure World logo on it, and they're very pretty. And we have almost an entire set, but we only have one broken cup. We've never been able to find any more cups, but we have dinner plates and stuff like that, and serving dishes. And they actually have a Leisure World logo on them. We have the original police badges that they were much heavier.
For security
For
or?
security, we
Okay.
have the original badges. We have picture of the first group of security people, which I understand we now have people working for them, whose father was one of the security guards. So we have a picture of that. We have pictures of all of the trees that are in here. We have pictures of the globe through from the
Wow.
time we installed
How
it
neat.
to now.
How
So
neat.
it's an interesting place.
How neat. Okay, so if there's somebody out there that has a cup that's not broken with the Leisure
need
World
one.
logo on it,
We need one.
okay, Historical Society would like to talk to you.
Yes.
See if you'd like to
We could use one.
loan it or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
we could
good.
use it.
Okay, so now we talk about Golden Rain Foundation and Golden Age Foundation. They sound similar, except there's one word difference. One is rain and one is age.
Mhm.
Can you tell us what the basic differences are?
Well, the Golden Rain Foundation was named for the golden rain tree that we used to have tons of here, but unfortunately they weren't made to live in California, so they all died off. I think we have maybe 3 or 4 left, so 15's got a beauty. But that's what runs Leisure World. It runs the trust property, it does your maintenance, it does your security, it takes care of your clubhouses, that type of stuff. That's what Golden Rain does. And the shareholders pay for that in your assessment.
Okay.
So anybody that thinks they're getting free amphitheater shows are kidding themselves. Everything that happens in Leisure World, the shareholders pay for. So they pay for Golden Rain. Golden Age started about 42 years ago. Golden Rain used to do everything. And then they said that they can't do 501Cs because they're not a nonprofit. So Golden Age Foundation, for the Golden Age over the age of 65, was started. And they're the ones that do things like the bus, the flu clinic, we send buses up to Ralph's once a week, we do your taxes, we do the hospitality center, we do your Lifeline, which is a couple doors down from here if you have Lifeline problems. If you need a wheelchair or a walker, we deliver them to your house free of charge, and we just loan them to you for however long you need them. We don't charge anybody for anything except the basic Lifeline, because we just do all the work, but the Lifeline people for monitoring it does it. So they don't charge you anything. Everything from Golden Age is donations. So I jokingly, and I've been yelled at for this a few times, but I say one takes and the other one gives. So the Golden Age Foundation does a lot of good deeds for Leisure World. And one day when I'm no longer on the Golden Rain, I'm going to stay on the Golden Age.
How about the flu clinic? Is that part of the Golden Age Foundation?
It's Golden Age, and it's coming up the first Friday in October, and it'll be in Clubhouse 6. It'll be a full-day event. We pick up fully the bill. So you come on down. If you have insurance cards, bring your insurance cards. We'll charge the insurance company. If you don't have any money, that's fine too.
Okay. Now, this program, it depends on what channel it's going to be appearing on. But for those that are seeing it before October, we're going to talk about the flu clinic a little more, because she's going to tell us something about a special shot that is going to be available for you seniors. And you said it's like a triple...
It's a triple. There are 3 kinds of flus that we're worried about this year. And normally your flu shot is one kind. But this year they put all 3 of them together so that you don't run a risk of getting flu. So everybody over 65 will get the special shot. And that's 3 times, it costs 3 times the amount. So what we may have been paying $8 or $9 before, we're paying 3 times that amount now.
Wow.
Golden Age pays for it. So, anybody over 65 gets that one. Anybody under 65 gets the other kind. If you have caregivers, bring them on down, we'll give them shots free of charge too, because it's crazy for them to bring flu into the neighborhood and give it to the seniors.
Sure.
So we give free flu shots to them. If the employees wanna come down the last hour or so, we'll give them to them too.
Okay.
So,
So it's kind of, it's because we don't know what flu's gonna hit us.
yeah,
That's, you're
They do a
covering
triple
all your
shot.
bases.
Yep.
It's like a baseball team.
And the flus are already here, the vaccine's already here. Last year, we had to put the clinic off, but right now it's already here. It's sitting in the refrigerators over in the healthcare center.
Okay. Okay. And let's see, what other things are happening in Leisure World?
Taco Tuesday, but that's tonight.
Taco
so-
Tuesday, okay,
But it'll
so,
be every Tuesday.
so every Tuesday,
It was Randy Ankney, our executive director, thought of this. I would have never thought of Taco Tuesday. So he thought of this, and they're coming, they'll be here tonight, and then they're gonna try it for a month and see how it works. If it
Okay.
works out good,
okay,
I'm sure the first day won't be that great, because
Okay.
it was like putting one at the amphitheater for our shows. It wasn't that good.
okay, but did it caught on? I
Oh,
saw-
it caught
I saw
on
a lot of
indeed.
people
Oh,
eating.
it caught on.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
tremendous amount of people started going to
Okay.
the food trucks at maybe because the shows were better this year.
Could
So.
be, so, for you folks that wanna go eat out and stay within Leisure World, Taco Tuesday is a good opportunity, and it's gonna be at Clubhouse 6, Tuesdays, and you can then eat at Clubhouse 6,
Yeah.
if you wanna eat there, and it's nice and air conditioned right now, cause right now it's a hot section of the year. Okay, and anything else you'd like to say as a wrap-up? Anything that's, did you think in the future that you'd like to do, or?
Well, we're in a budget process right now, so we're gonna, we're doing our first reserve study, so we're very busy at Golden Rain right now. But it looks like it's gonna be a good year for us.
Good.
It looks like, it's surprisingly the first year we've ever had 4 female officers.
So the ladies are running the organization here.
Well, I don't know what happened. The guys turned around one day and said, "How did that happen?" Say, "Well, we ran unopposed." I mean, that's how it happened. But yeah, this is the first time they've had 4 women officers.
Very
So,
good.
The corporate officers. So
Great. Okay.
it'll be an interesting year to see how it works
Okay.
out.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.